Yo, sports bettors, yesterday we cashed a 5-pick flex play. So you can see here on PrizePicks, the way a 5-pick flex works is if you go 5 for 5, you get a 10x payout. 4 for 5, you get a 2x payout. So it's not a parlay, right? You don't have to win every pick to get a payout. But regardless, it's kind of like a round robin, and we've explained in tons of other videos, you got to be placing 5 and 6 pick flex plays, not 2-pick power plays, right? On PrizePicks, it is mathematically optimal to place 5 and 6 pick flex plays. And we've gone through the math tons of times. I'll put this, kind of spreadsheet in the description on YouTube. But what you're going to notice is if you're hitting 57% of your picks in a 2-pick power play, your ROI is negative 2.5%. So if you can select overs and unders, so we go to PrizePicks, right? The way this works is they don't vary your payout depending on if you select the overs or the unders. Right? It's always going to be 20 to win 60 or a 3x payout for a 2-pick power play, right? So essentially, we've gone through the math and kind of how these payouts work. If you can select these overs and unders correctly in a 2-pick power play 57% of the time, your ROI is negative 2.5%, right? Which is crazy. Negative. If you can hit your picks at a clip of 57%, if you can select overs and unders, you still have a negative ROI if you're placing 2-pick power plays. Whereas if we're placing 5-pick flexes, if you're hitting 57% of the time, your ROI is 19.25%, right? So just add 3 more picks and hit them at a rate of 57%, and your ROI goes from negative 2.5% in a 2-pick power play to 19.26%, which you can see right here. And again, the spreadsheet is in the description. There's nothing to argue about. This is just math, right? All I've done is broken down the payouts of PrizePicks and shown you that you're getting minus 119 odds. So let's head over to OddsJam. So one of the first picks I'm on, for example, is Damian Lillard under 5.5 rebounds. So typically the first tool I start out on when I'm looking for picks on PrizePicks is this positive EV tool. So all the EV tool does is it scans the market, right? It puts minus 137 and minus 119 to any line on PrizePicks. So for example, it's reading in all these lines, right? It's reading in all the data from DraftKings and just showing you where PrizePicks is setting the lines versus where sportsbooks are. So what you're going to see here is, okay, we know as sharp bettors, we've gone through the math so many times of a 5-pick flex play, is we know we're getting minus 118.6, minus 119 odds, right? This is for a 5 or a 6 flex. Minus 137 is for a 2-pick power play, so you avoid it, right? You're getting a lot worse odds, which is kind of what we showed earlier, where if you're hitting at a clip of 57%, you still aren't going to be profitable if you're betting on 2-pick power plays. So this difference in odds between placing 2-pick power plays and 5-pick flexes really matters. So long story short, we know we're getting minus 119 odds in a 5 flex. Here you can see all the sports books are pricing Lillard's under, around minus 145 odds maybe on average. FanDuel has it minus 148. Caesars minus 142. So again, this is why sports betting is so easy, or why PrizePicks is so exploitable, right? We know any play you select in a 5 or a 6 flex. So let's go back to PrizePicks, right? So if we look at a past entry, like you can see right here, well, this one I ended up refunding, but they're not changing payouts for any of these entries. So here was a 5 flex that I placed. I went 3 for 5, so I got a 0.4x payout. But you're going to notice, they're not changing these depending on the picks you select, right? You go 5 for 5, you're always getting a 10x payout. You go 4 for 5, you're always getting a 2x payout. So long story short, the odds for any pick are always the same. So on PrizePicks, a 5 flex, we know we're getting minus 119 odds on any play. Here, we take a look at the sportsbooks where they're setting the lines. All sportsbooks have the under heavily favored, kind of around, minus 140, minus 145 odds. So getting minus 119 on PrizePicks seems like pretty clear value, right? We found an edge. So a lot of people will be like, okay, you found value. That doesn't mean your pick's going to win. And you're right. It doesn't mean the pick's going to win. We're looking for plays that have a mathematical edge. I don't know the future, right? I don't know if Damian Lillard's going to have 2 or 10 assists tonight. All I know is there's all these billion-dollar companies, DraftKings, Caesars, FanDuel, telling me this line should be set around minus 145, and I'm getting it at minus 119, right? You're like an investor. You're like a day trader. You're looking for value in the market, plays with an edge. We're not going to win every bet. You're not going to win on every investment, But if you're finding plays where you're getting a ton of value, you're guaranteed to win long term, right? Due to the law of large numbers. It's kind of like finding a coin that's weighted in your favor. If a coin's 53% to land on heads, it may show up on tails the first time. It's 47% to show up on tails the first time. It's 47% to show up on tails the second time as well. But if you flip that coin a lot, right, the value is on heads. So over the course of like 1,000 flips, it's going to show up on heads more often. It's the same thing as a sharp sports bettor, right? We know every play we're going to put in plays with an edge. We're not going to win every bet. But right, we have tons of data points all telling us Lillard's under should be heavily favored around minus 145. We know we're getting minus 119 in a 5 flex. That's clear value, a clear edge. This is a play we want to take advantage of. And you can see there's plays on FanDuel, as well. There's some college basketball plays on PrizePicks. So long story short, the more books you have, the better, right? Like the more books you have, the more plays with an edge you'll have, right? Like you can see all these books have different odds from one another. So if you don't have PrizePicks, if you're only using Bovada, there's no value on Lillard under 5.5 rebounds. You're getting 31 cents worse, right? You're getting minus 150. So all the value goes away. You're getting a rip-off price, right? It's kind of like trying to make money as a day trader or an investor. If you only use one sports book, right, you're always betting at, worse odds than people who have numerous sports books are. It's kind of like being an investor who has to buy every investment at, a 20% premium. You want to buy a stock, everyone's buying a stock in the market for $100, you have to buy it at $120. Try making money then when you're getting a rip-off price to the market. It's not going to happen. And it's kind of the same thing here, right? You want more sports books because you're looking for value, and you never know which sports book's going to be screwing up on a given day. So here, if we put in, all sports books, there's 182 on OddsJam. You can see it's like, okay, let's see where the top plays are. So if we go ahead and we put that in, it's like the top plays on parlay play. So Ryan Kalkbrenner over 5.5 rebounds in this March Madness game, right? We're getting minus 128 on parlay play. All the sports books are pricing this, frickin' minus 165, minus 170-ish. I mean, BetOnline has this minus 149. Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker, has this minus 200. So all the data points are telling us, yeah, this minus 128 is a hammer, right? But I don't have parlay play, so this isn't a play I can get in on, right? This play isn't on PrizePicks. I would love to bet this on PrizePicks, but I can't. So more books means more profitable betting opportunities. You never know which book is going to screw up, right? And you just got to be quick to get in on the best ones. Like you can see here, Dinwiddie was plus 108 on under 30.5 PRAs. It's down to minus 102 on FanDuel. The odds of this bet have changed. So you got to move quickly. So long story short, I went through my first pick. Here's my second pick, Jalen Williams over 19.5 points plus assists. So this is called the OddsJam screen. All it does is it shows you, for any market, any sport you want to look at. So here you kind of have the NBA. What the screen shows you is just where is the book setting the line and then where are the odds, right? So you can customize it. You can add in sports books, remove them. But what you're going to see right here is like, okay, PrizePicks has Jalen Williams' line at 19.5 points plus assists. Every sportsbook, DraftKings, Caesars, FanDuel, Bet365, they all have Williams' line at 20.5, right? So if you look right here. So that's a 1-point gap, which you can see right here, 19.5 versus 20.5. So PrizePicks is at 19.5. All of the sportsbooks are at 20.5. So PrizePicks is too low, right? We want to take the over. We have dozens of data points, literally dozens of data points, telling us Jalen Williams, his line should be at 20.5 points plus assists. We can get 19.5 on PrizePicks, so PrizePicks is too low. We want to slam the over, right? We want to hammer this over in a 5 flex at minus 119 odds because all the sportsbooks have his line higher, right? So the screen, you kind of use it in a different way than the EV tool. The EV tool is for comparing prices when books have the line set at the same level, right? So here, every book has Ryan Kalkbrenner, his line set at 5.5 rebounds. So the EV tool is comparing the prices on the sports books and pointing out that, hey, parlay play is a huge error. They're a market inefficiency. They're giving you frickin' minus 128 odds on his over when Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker in the world, is pricing this at minus 200, 72 cents worse, right? So all the data points are telling us, yo, parlay play is giving you way too good of odds. So we want to hammer this at minus 128. So the EV tool compares when books are setting the line at the same level, whereas the screen, again, is more useful for looking where do books have the line set at different levels, right? Like you can't compare the odds between 19.5 and 20.5 points plus assists because it's not the same bet, right? Betting over 19.5 is not the same as betting over 20.5 because if there's 20 points, or if he has 20 points plus assists, we're going to win our over. Everyone else who bet this on a sportsbook is going to lose. So the way I use the screen is I'm mainly just scanning for, okay, where do books have the line set at different levels? So you can see here, it's like Capella. PrizePicks has his line at 13.5. All the sportsbooks have his line at 13.5. Not really any value. Devin Vassell, every book has his line at 22.5. Almost identical odds. There's no value in the market. There's no bet I want to place. Right? As a savvy investor, as a sharp sports bettor, you're literally like a day trader, hunting through the market, looking for value and inefficiencies. There's no value on Vassell. I don't have a play on Devin Vassell. There's no value on John Collins. All books have his line at 13.5. I don't have a play on John Collins on PrizePicks. So EV tool screen, the final pick I had was from the OddsJam arbitrage tool. So the arbitrage tool, arbitrage by definition, it means when you can buy and sell and make a risk-free profit, right? So I really recommend, if you don't know arbitrage betting, it's how I made my first $40,000 sports betting. So we have a lot of good tutorial videos on it, but essentially, OddsJam is pulling in. I mean, if you just look for the NBA, how many lines DraftKings has, even just one sports book, rebounds, alternate rebounds, right? Like they have so much different stuff you can bet on, player assists. So these sports books aren't perfect. They screw up occasionally. They all want to set lines independently. Parlay Play doesn't want the same exact odds as Pinnacle or Bet Online. FanDuel doesn't want the same odds as DraftKings. So they all try to set lines independently. And sometimes they screw up and they get out of sync with each other. And there's such a big discrepancy that you can bet an over and an under and make a risk-free profit, which you can see right here, right? So like here, you can get the over betting 100 to win 110, and for the under, you only have to bet 107 to win back 100. So arbitrage bettors, again, this is how I started making money sports betting. They'll have money in numerous sportsbook accounts, and you're essentially taking advantage of sportsbook errors, right? When they are so out of sync with each other that you can bet on two sportsbooks, equal and opposite outcomes, and make a risk-free profit. That's arbitrage betting. So you can see here, we have arbitrage between PrizePicks and FanDuel, right? So you can get Jokic's under 37.5 points plus rebounds at plus 120. The over in a 5 flex on PrizePicks would be minus 118.6. So this market has crossed. So long story short, arbitrage means you could bet on both sides and make a risk-free profit. So that also means one of these plays has to be profitable, right? Like you can't have risk-free money in financial markets and not have there be a profitable bet. Right? If I took, like for this arbitrage bet right here, if I took Logan Johnson over 15.5 points on FanDuel at plus 110, and I took his under on Pinnacle at minus 107. So both of these sports books are in Ontario, so you could have arbed this and made a risk-free profit of 7.25% or 0.69%. So if you can bet on both sides and make a risk-free profit, one of these bets has to be profitable, right? Either the under at minus 107 or the over at plus 110, right? If you can bet both and make a risk-free profit, one of these plays has to be profitable. So here it's like we know PrizePicks or FanDuel has to be wrong, right? One of these plays has to be profitable, this minus 119 or this plus 120. So you look at DraftKings, they also have Jokic's over heavily favored around minus 145 odds. FanDuel minus 160. We're getting frickin' minus 119 on PrizePicks. Both sports books, $2 billion big sports books taking tons of action, very sophisticated books are pricing this around minus 150, minus 155. We're getting minus 119 on PrizePicks. That's a steal deal. Sign me up. So you can see here, the plays I have ended up putting together 5 and 6 pick flexes. So we have Jalen Williams over 19.5 points plus assists. That I just showed you on the OddsJam screen. Damian Lillard under 5.5 rebounds. That was from the positive EV tool. Jokic over 37.5 points plus rebounds from the arbitrage tool. John Collins over 17.5 points plus rebounds. Kellen Johnson under 9.5 rebounds plus assists. And then here is the same thing, except I got rid of the play on John Collins and added in Katie Swan over 20 games. And then here you can see the same thing. Katie Swan over 20 games, and then I added in Giannis to make a 3. So this is a 6-pick flex, 400 to win 10,000. A lot of people would say, wow, so degenerate, 6-pick flex, you're putting $400 on. No, every pick I know has an edge. I know I make money long term. Sports betting, I know I have an edge over the sports books. I know the math behind 5 and 6-pick, flex plays. So there's really not that much risk for me. I know that my plays have an edge, so I know I beat PrizePicks long term, and it's just about getting down enough volume, right? So I'm trying to place more bets on a given day on PrizePicks. I want to get down as much action as I can because I know I have a positive ROI, right? I know all my plays have an edge, like this play on Damian Lillard. So hopefully this video was helpful. Any questions you have, feel free to comment them. Let's make some money.